All right, my chess champions, welcome back to the Brush Off the Dust series. I just casually played a game of chess. I wasn't thinking. I just hit chess.com, hit play, and played a game and didn't record it. And it actually ended up being a really good game. So we're going to take a look and should be fun. Here we go. So currently 1581. We started around 1570. We're trying to get to 1700. Okay, so we're playing King's Pawn. So we face Sicilian defense. This is the main line. When they play e5, the two main moves that I'm aware of are knight f3, knight b3. Computer's also saying knight b5 is a move, and you're threatening to check here with the support of the queen. Okay, sorry for all the arrows. I played knight b3. They attack the pawn. I developed the knight to defend the pawn. And then they pin me. This is always very uncomfortable in this opening, so I need to do some research on the theory here, because usually what I like to do, well, I'll play a few more moves. Usually what I like to do is put this bishop here, put this queen here, castle queenside, and then send all these pawns. And this is one of my absolute favorite openings. You get a lot of really fun games with this. But when they bring the bishop to b4, it's super annoying because they can break open your pawn chain, or you have to put the bishop here, and then it's awkward where to develop the queen. So okay, play continues. So I developed like normal. Yes, they can take and double my pawns, but I think it's okay. Play continues. Just quick check on the clock. So we both have about 3 minutes left. So we've been playing pretty swiftly thus far. Okay, a5. So he's coming with the palm storm here. And I play king b1. The thinking behind this move was if he plays a4, I now have an escape square for my knight. Because otherwise, when I'm still on c1, where do I put this knight? This square is guarded by the pawn. This square is guarded. This is defended. So my knight would be trapped, actually, if they played... Well, I guess I can go to the corner, which I have done in some games. It's not... it looks terrible, and it probably kind of is, but it solves the problem of losing your knight, so whatever. Okay, so they advance and we retreat. They get here and we play b3. You don't want to... I don't think you want to take here because then the rook comes in, and now they're going to stack, and this... Basically, you're super vulnerable at that point. Playing b3 is also bad, though. This setup is bad in general because this is a long-term threat that anytime a queen can get to here, that's checkmate. So I got to be really careful of that. Sometimes you can also just leave your pawn here and let them take, and then let their pawn sit there forever as like a shield. I don't think that works in this case, though, because they have a target on the a-pawn. Okay, so play continues. This is very uncomfortable now because, well, let me back up a step here. The other problem with b3 is I've removed a defender of this knight. And I looked at this before, but I thought, okay, I think it's going to be fine. And I thought b3 was necessary. Let me just look, actually. What does computer says? Knight b3. Oh, they want you to play knight b3. That's an interesting idea because then you shut down this bishop. So then if they take, they don't have... I don't really see this a super clear threat. I feel like eventually they can take here, and then eventually like the queen comes in, and then I don't know. It's pretty sketchy. So other ideas here. Let's see. Actually they say the computer is saying b3 is the top move. Queen d3 is also an option, they say. I don't know. I think b3. Okay, the problem, though, is they have a lot of pressure here now. So if I do nothing, they just take a free knight. So how are you going to defend this pawn? Go ahead and pause. Think about this for a minute. How are you going to defend it? And is your defense going to last? Or are they going to be able to like bring other pieces into the attack and win this knight? What do you guys think? Can I hold on to this knight? Yes or no? Okay, so we're going to keep playing. We'll see. So I played knight to e2 to defend. Now, my opponent played knight to d4. There's a subtle threat here. So why don't you pause once more and give it a thought, and what is the threat for black here? Or what is black threatening to do? So I think what they wanted to play was knight to b4. Knight to b5, because they're adding another attacker on this knight. Meanwhile, I can't add another defender. If you look at my pieces, let's just say I do a move. How do I add another defender to this? The bishop can't go anywhere to defend. I'm stuck. So this is a very uncomfortable situation. And I think I have to take here. And computer says that is also the best move. I take, and now luckily I've removed the pin. So there's significantly less pressure now. Okay, rook to d8. I don't know if I like that move. Why not go rook c8 and pressure this way? And then you can bring this rook to the d file. I think that was a mistake by my opponent. Let me see, what did computer say? Computer... fd8, so computer likes fd8 and it also likes rook a8. I don't know. Okay, so g4. So now I'm gonna try to at least get some counterplay over on the side of the board to force my opponent to deal with my threats. In general, when you castle opposite sides like this, many of you probably know, but it's going to be a race of who can kill each other first. And as a result of that, you generally are just trying to like slow down their attack. Meanwhile, you're trying to get to their doorstep as quickly as possible. So that's the game plan. Okay. So they do a little reroute on this knight. They're attacking the f3 pawn. So what are you going to do here to deal with this? And they still have pressure here. So how do you protect this? So bishop to g2 is definitely an option. But in general, like the plan here is we're going to try to, bust open the king, and we want to bring the other rook here eventually and get the attack going. So if the bishop is on g2, excuse me, it's sort of in the way, and it's not actually targeting the good stuff. We want to break open the king, right? So we want the bishop, I don't know, anywhere, like somewhere else that's going to be pointed like this if we can, ideally. Okay, so I played queen to e3. So now I'm defending the f3 pawn while also keeping a necessary defender on this knight. For instance, if I went like queen to f2, now they can just take. And if I take, they take, and now they're up a piece. So I played queen to e3. Now they go rook to c8, which, seems just not as efficient. Imagine the same position, but black has both rooks on this file. That's what would have occurred if they played rook fd8 first, or if they went this way first. So I think there were some mistakes there by black, but okay. So now black is threatening to take my knight. And how can I add defenders to this knight? I can't really. Before I had this option to bring the rook to d3, but now the knight controls that square, which I think was his plan of getting the knight here. So sometimes you got to move the target. All right, so now I go knight to d5, and we can play continues. And my plan here, so I have two captures here. I could take this way or this way. Which do you guys think is better, pawn or rook? So both are reasonable. I played rook takes because you get a tempo on the queen. You have some pressure on this pawn. Maybe at some point you can even like take like this, like potentially a piece is hanging and we have like a double up and you get some sort of pin or something. Taking with the pawn, also okay, because you stifle this, but I don't know. I mean, now your queen's a little vulnerable, and you've severed. We had a pawn chain here, and now you've severed it, and you have a weak pawn. So, rook is better. Computer agrees. Bishop to c4. So now I need to find a square for my queen, and also this pawn is still under attack by the knight. So where do we put our queen here? Or is there some other alternate defense? So I went knight to d4 because there's really no good square to put your queen. I mean, I could go like here, I guess, maybe. Actually, maybe that's viable. Let's see. Computer says queen c1, bishop g2, bishop g2. What? Oh yeah, because you have this pin this way. Or queen c3. I don't know. Some of these seem a little crazy to me. I actually liked knight d4 a lot because, yes, I'm walking into a pin. A pin, which is bad. So I can't move the knight. Meanwhile, they can like double up the pressure. But I think I can maybe play c3 and be okay. Like, this is not ideal. One thing also to note when I brought this rook to d5 is I realized that this was going to be a long-term outpost because black doesn't have their light squared bishop. The knight is going to take a while to be able to attack this square because of its positioning. So it's actually going to be pretty safe here, which I also felt was a very strong attribute. Okay, so yeah, I felt like this was defensible, although quite awkward and not what we should be aiming for, but it felt okay. So takes, excuse me. So queen is under attack. What does black play here? Black plays kind of an in-between move. Excuse me. So, yeah, I guess I kind of overlooked that this pawn would be hanging. So that might have been maybe my first mistake. Well, probably something before this. I guess maybe I have to take with the rook here. I'm not sure. Computer says rook takes and queen takes are somewhat equal, but queen takes is slightly better. So, okay, so we take. Wow, computer says queen takes g7 check. This is insane. What? Oh, and then you take here. Ah, okay, I missed a little bit of a tactic. That's definitely seeable. That's definitely seeable. He did throw me off guard with this in-between move. So, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of scrambling a little bit in my thought process. But, yeah, okay. So instead, actually, I thought I was just winning a piece with this move because, so queen d3. Now, I still have the tempo on the queen and the knight is hanging. But there's a problem with my move. You can pause and see if you can find what's the play here for black. Actually, the computer found something else too. So rook... Computer says rook c5. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, then knight takes. Let's just look real quick. Whoops. Rook, queen takes. Rook takes d5. Oh, you have to watch out because there's always this checkmate pattern. Okay, so there's a lot of tactics here. But the problem that I was thinking of and what black played in the game is that the queen can come to e1. So queen e1, check. This would be mate if I didn't have any blocks because this pawn is boxing me in. And that's the danger of this pawn. So this is called a wedge pawn. I learned that from Akobian, GM var Akobian. He has great videos, by the way. Like probably most of what I've learned is from Akobian videos. So highly recommend you search GM lectures Akobian on YouTube and check out his stuff. It's amazing. Okay, so that's the strength of this pawn. So I have to block now. And I thought they were just going to trade. And then like double up maybe and whatever. I don't know. But they gobbled another pawn, which makes sense, I guess. So now if you were white here, what would you play? Go ahead and pause. Give it a thought here. So the move I played in the game was bishop to g2 because notice that the knight is now pinned and we're double attacking. So the knight can't move and we're basically guaranteeing ourselves a chance to take it. Now, my opponent found a really good defensive resource in this game. Go ahead and pause, see if you can find it. It's pretty advanced. I don't know if I would have seen this. It's pretty gnarly, but give it a shot. So the move that black found here, which is kind of gnarly, is rook to c2. So the idea here is if I take your... Black is going to take my rook. So you take my rook, I take your rook. Okay. If I don't take the rook, then black is going to get a discovered check on the king and can maybe win my queen or do something else good. Like, I don't know, take the bishop or something with check. And so if I just take, they go here with check, and it's not so clear, right? So you have to sit here for a minute and calculate. Unfortunately, I only had 57 seconds on the clock, so I didn't have a ton of time. So the best move, which is what the computer says to do, is to take the rook. Because after they take the rook, there's some follow-up tactics where you get to exploit the fact that this knight is still pinned, basically. So it goes like takes, and they say rook d1 here is best. It gives you plus 1.6. Everything else is -2. If you don't know what that means, positive is advantage for white by that amount of points. So like 1 point is 1 pawn. Negative is beneficial for black. So after rook d1, now it's hard for the queen to move anywhere and stay on the defense of this knight, because we just like control all the squares somehow. Like this is controlled by the queen. We can trade the queens and then take. So, okay, that was the best line. What I played in the game was bishop takes f3. And now I had to calculate though, what if they do a discovered check? And am I still good in that scenario? And the answer I thought was yes, because if they do a discovery, I can take the piece that's checking me. And then if they take, now I'm crushing, right? I'm up a rook and a bishop. And you also have to look at other checks, other moves available to black. So like you have to consider this move, and you have to consider this move, which is what black played in the game. So rook to b2 check. Now you have to decide which way you're going to go here. You guys are going to go left or you're going to go right? So I think going right is extremely dangerous. Actually, okay, now I see it's actually just game over. I was worried you can bring the rook in, but see if you can find the mate here. There's a mate here for black. Mate in 1, believe it or not. And the queen just tucks right in over here. Checkmate. Look at that. Just behind the defenses. Very nice. So your intuition should be screaming to you to go to the corner, which is what I played. Now, I mean, this is pretty dangerous. Like if black can ever get like the queen on the 7th rank and then like rook takes, there's going to be like a lot of mating threats. So it's very dangerous. Now queen to b4. Okay. Rook to g1. Now, believe it or not, there's actually a move here that wins the game for black. Go ahead and pause and see if you can find it. It's a very difficult move, I would say. I did not consider this move, but give it your shot. Give it your best shot, and we'll take a look in a second. So the move is queen to c3. And basically there's just too many threats here of discovered checks, of this queen's going to come and you're going to mate this way, of the rook taking and then the queen is going to mate this way. There's just too many threats. It's overwhelming, and there's nothing white can do to stop any of those. So I'm not going to go through all this line, but let's see, queen to d4. Yeah, like a move I would have considered in this position is like queen d3 maybe. And you think, oh, okay, if they check me, I'm just gonna take the queen. Well, black says, no, I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna double check you. And then you're gonna take, and then I'm gonna checkmate you. So pretty dangerous. But then if you're extra smart, you go queen d4, which is what the computer says to do. And then they say it's mate in 5. Okay, so queen c2. Okay, they want you to like sack the queen and whatever, but what do you do from here? You can't take this because queen takes checkmate. The threat here is just mate. They're just going to take you. You can't do anything. It's game over. So crazy quiet move to go queen c3. Now black played this, I guess, to get rid of any back rank issues, which is probably a good idea. And I think they played the g-pawn to create... I think they did this because I have a light squared bishop. So if, for example, you do the opposite, If I bring my light square bishop onto this diagonal, you might still have back rank issues. So I think that's why they did the g-pawn. You also restrict the bishop more, and you're also restricting my rook more. Okay, so now I was thinking I need to guard. I need to try to trade off this rook. I need to guard my second rank. So I go rook g2. They take, I take. They play rook to c1. And actually, in this position, so right after I played rook g1, I realized I really messed up. Go ahead and pause and see if you can find why this is a mistake. So the reason it's a mistake is because there's actually a mate in 2 in this position. So check, mate. That's it. If you didn't see that, I think you should drop a like on the video. All right. So once I played rook to g2, I realized, oh no, he has this checkmate. So after takes, he's going to have this mate in 2. But after he played rook takes, so notice the clocks now too. I have 20 seconds. He has 40 seconds. I fairly quickly just took the rook. And yes, I know this is on the board. I know there's mate in 2 on the board. But the alternative is I'm just down a ton of material. I can't even go here because they just take. So there's no way for me to trade. So I have to just run the risk that, yes, I could get mated in 2. But I just have to hope they don't see it. And this is really rare in chess, at least in my experience, that you would actually do something like this. But here, I think I just had to do this. So I had to just take and hope he doesn't see the main 2. And luckily, he did not see it. So, you know, guys, keep fighting. Keep pushing. Okay, so now I need to defend this threat, though. So I go rook d3 to guard this square. He goes queen to f4. I'm not really sure. I guess it's pressuring here, so I need to add some extra defense there. So I go rook b1, which is also helpful, so there are no back rank ideas directly. Okay. Then queen to e5. At this point, I mean, I had 15 seconds on the clock. I'm moving quickly just to try to not lose. So I'm just going, all right, bishop to f3, and then sad hammer blow to my soul. We were fighting so well. And then just mate in 1. We just blundered mate in 1. Let's see, what could we have done here? Yeah, computer says queen d2, rook d4. That feels uncomfortable after rook to c4. But yeah, maybe queen d2. Queen d2 is kind of a hard. It's really scary to bring the queen off the back rank because of this pawn and this, and like, yes, I cover this, but like that's kind of hard to calculate in 15 seconds. And really, I mean, you don't have 15 seconds to calculate one move. Like, you kind of need to, like, you maybe have like 5 seconds you can allot to this, and because you have to play more moves in the future. So yeah, we just blundered the mate there. But I thought this was a great game, and you know, it was some back and forth, some sort of blunders because I'm rusty, but then also some sort of brilliance. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to keep this series going. I'm really enjoying it. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.